Welcome to Conscious TV with Tom and Ramon. Tonight we've got a really special guest, but before we get to that, we'll let Ramon go through a couple of things here.
Yeah, just want to let you know about our website. Make sure you check it out so you find out what guests we have. You could look at Tom's Rice experiments and anything else that we have. We have links. That is www.conscious-tv.com. And
I think I need to expand on that rice experiment thing a little bit before we get into this, Ramon. Well, I'm doing the Emoto rice experiment, which is a very simple experiment that anybody can do at home, and I actually would encourage anybody to do it because what it'll do for you is it'll prove the effect of consciousness on the material world. You can find all the details on the website. I'll briefly go over it. You take three containers, 3 equal amounts of rice, 3 equal amounts of water. You add them all together, and you add the water and rice in 3 separate cups. Then you every day say to one cup, "I love you, you're the best thing in the world." The second cup you say, "You idiot, I hate you," and then you ignore the third cup. And just observe it for 30 days or longer. Just observe it. You'll see amazing effects right off the bat. So, anyways, you can follow. I'm documenting it on a website, and you can follow mine. Or like I said, I encourage you to do this yourself because when you do it yourself, it brings it home and it makes it real and something that you can actually know. So anyways, who do we got tonight, Ramon?
we have Miriam Delicado, and she has the writings of Blue Star Begun. And after an experience in 1988, I asked to write a book for the beings. I had an encounter explaining who they were at their request. The idea and acceptance of this task was not easy. 15 years after they intentionally requested this of me, I began writing. Not only did complete acceptance take place, but the time was right as well. Although I have no formal education or degree, my intelligence and intellect imply otherwise. Contact began with me at birth and is ongoing. I feel I have been groomed for my role in this cosmic event as a messenger, the beings from afar. They have provided me with the education, they have become my teachers in this life, and more. I feel that everyday life on this planet is a great gift to be cherished, honored, and respected. And that's from Miriam Delicado. Miriam, how are you today?
I'm very good, Ramon. And Tom, thank you so much for having me on the show. And thanks for a great intro. You have me curious to go to the website myself and check out the rice progress.
We're on day 10 now.
Oh, really? Well, this kind of ties into my experiences that I've had and why I'm doing the work that I'm doing now. Because, of course, it actually all ties into consciousness and where we're heading into the future and how our consciousness and our thoughts and our choices of today can actually bring us into a far more balanced world than we are currently living in. And, of course, this has been something that these star beings have spoken to me about since the very first time I remembered. I had the conscious memory at 22 years old of seeing them and then having the flashbacks of being with them years prior. But the first conscious memory was when I was 22. And that was one of the primary pieces of information that they were talking to me about is consciousness and how through our thoughts we had the ability to change our future. So this is a great introduction to the show today. Thank you.
Right.
I have a quick question. Sorry, Tom. So I want to ask you a little bit of a weird question. Have we ever met before? Physically?
I don't know, Ramon. I meet a lot of people, and I've done a fair amount of traveling in around California in the United States and Arizona. But other than that, I'm not sure.
That's a cheap pickup line, Ramon. Come on.
No. The reason why I'm asking you, Miriam, is because I went to ECETI, James Gilliland's ranch up in Trout Lake, The first time, 2009.
Mm-hmm.
And I swore that I saw you speak. I spoke to you. You even spoke to me in Spanish. And then I went the next year, and I was told that, no, you weren't up there. You've never spoken. And I said, yes, you did. And I argued about it, and they was like, no, look. And they showed me proof that you weren't there. So I'm wondering if I jumped on a different timeline, or I'm just going nuts. So that's why I was asking you that.
You actually opened the door to a fascinating, quite a fascinating phenomenon that happens with me. I will tell you a couple of stories about this, Ramon, and I'll leave it to you to decide what it is that happened, because I don't have an explanation. All I can say is what my own experience has been. For example, I managed to finish writing the book Blue Star, Fulfilling Prophecy near the end of 2007. In around October of 2007 was when I put it into the publisher for a self-published book. And it was around that time, shortly after, I believe it was the end of November, when I finally got the book in my hands and I started to sell it on my website and got a little bit of, exposure. By January of that year, or the following year, 2008, I was on Coast to Coast Radio for the first time. And this was a very big deal, and I had a lot of people contacting me. One of the people that contacted me was a woman who was from California. And in this email, she continually asked me repeatedly, have I met you? Have I met you? And so just some of the key things that she said in this email perked my interest, and I ended up speaking with her on the phone. What was fascinating was that she specifically had said that she swore that she met me at a Sundance in California, and that I had told her all about the Blue Star and all about the prophecy of the Blue Star and all about the Hopi and the star beings and all of this other information. Now, what was remarkable was that she read my book after it came out, of course. But she swore that she met me prior to reading the book. And there's nothing that I can do to convince her that this was not me. Now, a couple of years, was it last year maybe? I do so much traveling around, it's hard for me to keep track of time, quite literally. It's kind of funny. But what happened was last year, I believe it was, I was in Canada. And I was at a gathering there, and I walked up, and as soon as I got to this location, the very first person that walked past me was a woman. She walked past me, and I said hello, and smiled, just wanted to make contact with whoever was around, say hello, and kept walking. She stopped, turned, and said, "Hey, aren't you the Blue Star woman? Aren't you the Blue Star woman?" And I kind of looked at her and I said, sure, yeah, I guess so. and so she started to speak with me, and she said, "Oh, and it was great meeting you yesterday." And I said, "Oh, that wasn't me." And she said, "Yes, it was." She said, "I met you in the this restaurant or something. I can't remember what it was, but yesterday." Or bookstore. "I met you at the bookstore yesterday." I said, "I wasn't at the bookstore yesterday. I wasn't even in this town yesterday. I just arrived. I drove in from Vancouver." She said, "No, I met you." She said, "You told me all about the Blue Star. You told me all about the prophecy. You told me all about the star beings." And she said, "And you said that your name was Blue Star." Now, the woman in California, couple of years prior, also said the same thing, that I said that my name was Blue Star. So what I can tell you, Ramon, is that you would not be the first person who has had this kind of experience. And in fact, it has become, initially when these things, these crazy
I'm getting goosebumps.
incidents happened around me, people did not quite know, I didn't know how to handle it, to be honest. And now it's just part of the phenomenon that goes on around me, period. What I can say is this, is that I can't tell you what it is that happens, but something does. And many people have sworn that they have met me, had very detailed conversation with me, and quite often I do talk about the blue star, the prophecy, the star beings. The fact that I spoke Spanish to you, Ramon, is interesting also because I do speak a little bit of Spanish. Was it how? And that's my that would be my question. How was my Spanish, Ramon?
You had an American accent, but you spoke fluently, but you had an American accent. So
yo tengo poquito español, es muy
just
malo.
Just like
Sí.
that. So
yo no tengo mucho gramática. So that's my Spanish.
So basically, she said she doesn't have a lot of grammar, but it was a little more fluent than that. But it was fluent. Mm-hmm. So I just find it crazy because I asked, "Oh, how come you guys didn't have Miriam?" Because she was so great. She's like, "Miriam's never been here." So yeah, that's something to be written down.
And so this, I'm turning the tables on you, Ramon, because I find this fascinating. Well, my question to you is, are you saying that with this experience that I was a presenter in front of the crowd, or was this a one-on-one encounter?
Both. I ever since they told me that, I started to question whether I was delusional. But yeah, you did present. And I even remember talking to people and them saying, and then when I asked them the next year when I saw them, they were like, "No, she wasn't there." So I'm the only one who has memory of this. Or maybe I dreamed it and can't tell the difference. I shouldn't question it. I should just accept it.
See, this is the wonderful thing about this phenomenon, and to get into this just a little step further here, people have, one woman, for example, woke up in the middle of the night, looked over at her computer, and saw my face staring back at her. Wow. I've had people who have insisted that I sent them emails when I haven't. People have woken up in the middle of the night and say that I'm standing at the end of their bed and I speak to them. They have, and this isn't a massive amount of people that have confided these things in me, but it most certainly is enough where I do not believe that you are delusional, Ramon. I believe that you had what I would call a very unique and special experience. And for whatever reason, whatever gift was given to you through that experience, it was obviously meant for you to have that as a gift. Because in this world of the seen and the unseen, which is what how you started the show, it's talking about the unseen world of thought and how these thoughts and the verbalization of I love you, I hate you, and not talking to the rice can actually transform into a physical outcome that is very uniquely different between all three of those things, is very interesting. And I believe in for myself that with all of the experiences that I've had and all the teachings that I've had from these star beings, from all of my own insights and my experiences, I can truly say that life is not as it appears to be, and that it's actually a very unique perspective for each and every individual that's here, and we have collective experiences that's clear. But through these collective experiences, sometimes the individuals have the ability to change those collective experiences through, world meditations, world prayers, making personal choices, that type of thing. So it's actually fascinating that you shared that with me, and I'm really grateful because it gives me an opportunity to share with the listeners a little bit more about the concept of reality